Welcome back, folks, to yet another Zero Takedown Ghost. I'm Grease Scotsman, and we're about to get yet another playthrough underway. This time we are leaving Hengsha, and we're heading off to someplace special. So we picked up where we left off. Adam just jumped out of the window after setting a bomb that clearly Tong was trying to use to kill him, giving him only 10 seconds to move. And now, of course, we're going to stow away.
Richard, I'm going off the grid for a while. Not sure how long.
Why? What are you up to, Jensen?
Following a lead.
And where exactly is this lead taking you?
You there! Get that cargo, clear the fire! We're pulling out now! Load and secure those pods!
Answer me, Jensen. Where are you going?
Hell if I know, Pritchard. Hell if I know.
So you get a bit of heads up about where these things might be going based on some of the chatter that you hear throughout the stowaway mission that we just passed. But I have to say it was still quite a ballsy risk that he took, because who knows if he could have ended up in the middle of nowhere.
Pritchard.
God forbid, FedEx handle that package. He would have been lost forever.
You've been offline for days. Where the hell are you?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
I'm pinging you now. You're in Singapore.
Isn't that where we all end
Something's
up?
wrong, Jensen. I pinged you, and a second later I lost your GPL signal. It's like you disappeared into a black hole.
Gotta be a jammer.
Well, obviously. If you can find the transmitter and take it offline, I'll be able
So
to
there is a
track you.
room in the back of this warehouse that you can go into to find some ammo.
Help you keep tabs on me. If Megan and her team are here, there's no time to waste.
So Pritchard gives you a side mission to try to disable the signal jammer. And that actually is what we're going to do because, first of all, it's a secondary mission, you might as well. And most importantly, though, it makes the first mission quite easy. You get the locations of everyone on your map. Pretty simple here, just SWAT turn your way. You do have to move pretty quickly, though, because if you hang out on the other side of that box, that guard right there will spot you. So I'm making sure he doesn't get interested in me down here. And I make a move behind these boxes. SWAT turn. And again. And he's about to turn and look in this direction, so you gotta move not terribly quickly, but you do have to be on the move throughout this whole section, otherwise you will be spotted. And notice how I ducked behind the yellow crates first. Made sure I was completely out of visibility before I moved that dumpster. And time to steal stuff. So here I'm waiting for the guards to pass by so he doesn't see me open the door. And right now these guys are having a little conversation. You want to wait for them to finish. And once you see that the guard that is closest to my radar center point, once he's looking down at you, then that's your all clear to be able to move on to the next section, but I decide to wait for the next guard patrol. And as I said, I am a little bit under the weather, so if my voice kind of gives out on me, that's why. Alright, so here comes this guard. And he's going to walk right into the room, but he will never look back at you, thankfully. He happens to look in the other direction, so. And you can just follow him out. I'm waiting for him to actually turn the corner. You don't have to, though. And since this door was already open before I went inside, I leave it open. Same thing with this one. As soon as he's pointing the other direction, you can walk into this room. And as soon as his back is turned... Oh. As soon as his back is turned, you can hop in the other room. I again waited just to be sure, but I've tested it since then. You can go right in. I had some kind of hit and miss situations where guards would hear me opening doors if they were too close, so that's why I was being a little bit overly cautious.
Access granted.
Alright, so the center panel is what disables the jammer, but for now I'm just going to go through and steal stuff. Here's a nice level 5 keypad. Nets you a ton of experience.
Access granted.
And of course it's always handy to get through. You might want to burn a couple of your nukes if you want to get through there and get all the goodies. So there's a Peps gun, some ammo that I don't really need, so I decided to just leave it as is. So with this panel, you don't need to turn off this camera.
Access granted.
You must have done something, Jensen. 4 of our GPL
Now you can
signals
see you
just
get
popped up.
Smooth Operator and
including
Ghost.
yours. Koss, Colvin, Faraday. I'm not picking up Dr. Reed.
Send me the coordinates you do have. And Pritchard, tell Sarif.
I can't. While you were incommunicado, Mr. Darrow invited him, Bill Taggart, and the UN delegates to Panchaea. They're halfway to the Arctic by now.
By completing both objectives in one, you get 2 ghosts and 2 smooth operators, and a couple of getting things done, so it's a massive boost to XP. I'm waiting for this guard to come through. He's about to turn the corner. Here he comes. And as soon as he turns around, you can make your exit. Again, I'm going to wait a few more steps before I open the door. If you open it too early, he will hear you.
A device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced.
And I leave the doors open because they were open before I got there. I'm getting ready to hack this door. The guard won't really look back at you. I just wasn't sure, so I'm watching the radar.
Access granted.
I see the guard coming back. I'm thinking, well, would he spot me or would he not? Sort of a gamble, so I waited out. Typical klepto tendencies. I think there might have been a pocket secretary on one of the bunk beds in there. I might have missed. So here, this is kind of important. I'm looking for, there's a guard that paths on the far side, a heavy. There he is. And if he's turning inward, he will see the door open and become alarmed. Or at least alerted. So I wanted to make sure that he was not there. And I'm shaking my fist, game-wise, at that turret. I'll explain why in just a little bit. In order to get past that turret, you must use cloak, or you have to use the method that I'm going to do here a little bit later on in the mission. But I'm sort of shaking my fist at it because it requires me to backtrack all the way out to this section. So yeah, you gotta be quick there, because the guard is pretty much gonna turn around right as you enter, so you need to be quite zippy in order to avoid being spotted.
Access granted.
And here, there are a couple different ways through this room. The one I'm going to take is the one that never gets the camera suspicious of you. There's a pretty significant reason. If you try to SWAT turn from the post that this guard is passing by over to the left, the camera will always spot you. But by doing it this way, you just wait for the guard to pass, you hug here, and I actually didn't discover this until I was up on this next level. So sometimes it pays to keep your eyes open and go back and do something. So waiting for the guard to move. Now he's on the far side, the camera's not looking at me, and the other important thing is that the guard up on the second tier was sitting down. That's the position that you want him to be in when you try to make this move to the event. I think at any other time he'll pretty much spot you. So here he's going to walk away. I no longer have to worry about the camera. Pretty much just this one guard that's close by will be the only problem I have. And there's also, I think, an ammo case over there that you can go grab, but I choose not to. So I'm actually going to do these in a different order than what a lot of people might do. You can see I'm only 10 meters away from one of the objectives. I'm actually going to pass it by because, as I mentioned before, I need to backtrack in order to get through that courtyard without being spotted. I'll go and sort of show off this conversation here. You get an idea that it's Colvin. I realized a little bit later that there's an alternate way into her office that I didn't see before, and you actually do not need to shut down this camera, and I'll go over that a little bit later on. That camera way up in the corner, you got to be careful of it.
Access granted.
Now I choose to disable this camera, and the reason why is because I need to perform a hack within the time that that camera sweeps and a guard is looking the other way. So the second camera that was pointed at the lasers, you do not have to shut off. So that was a little bit of a mistake by me. And it wasn't until much later that I realized, hey, this alternate route into Coven's office makes it so that you never need to shut down those cameras. There's a candy bar on the table, but I don't need those things. So I'm never doing a takedown, but I will steal this guy's money. See you, chump. Thanks for your 352. Alright, so with the camera shut down, that'll clear our way for when we get back over to the other rescuing Colvin. But I'm not going to head there yet. I'm heading for this sky bridge, which is over to the center left of the map. So this guy won't ever spot you. He pretty much just stands there. And as long as you're hugging the walls, you don't get too close, he'll never see you. So here we're passing above the courtyard. You can see the guys patrolling outside. And here, if ever the guy on the left is stuck and always looking at you and he never moves, just reload your game. So it might be a good idea to save here. Reloading will get him out of his animation stuck pose. Cut some footage here. I'm waiting for this heavy on the right to start walking back and the guard that was on the left to be looking away, and you can make your way up the stairs. And up here, you're pretty much safe as long as you're crouched.
Access granted.
So up here is a very important weapon, which I actually missed on my first time through, and I literally backtracked the entire way to come get this. If you want to do this without taking anyone down and never getting spotted, you absolutely need the tranquilizer gun or some sort of silenced weapon. If you don't have that, you won't be able to make it through with the method that I'm about to demonstrate. So this vent right here, this will take you to the room that has the tranquilizer gun. And I'm actually going to approach it from another direction. So right here, I'm showing you where I'm at. If you go in the other door, further down the hall, those guards don't ever look at you. And you can grab the tranquilizer rifle. There they are. You know, I basically spliced together my backtracking and put it into my main walkthrough here. Trying to save you guys about 30 minutes. You don't need to take these lasers down. There are plenty of other ways to get through the, to get to the other side of the compound.
Access granted.
However, I choose to disable them simply because I want to just take the shortcut to the elevator. It's that simple. So there's nothing down here that'll spot you, I don't think. You are headed to one of the doctors. And there's some stuff in there that you can go inside and pick up, I guess, but I don't even worry about it at this point.
Adam? Adam Jensen? Good grief, lad. What the blazes happened to you?
I made the mistake of surviving. I'm here to get you out, Dr. Faraday.
I told Vasily that Seraph wouldn't stop looking.
Sevchenko's dead, Dr. Faraday. I'm sorry.
I figured as much. They forced me to create a signal pattern that could broadcast software upgrades directly into a person's implanted circuitry.
What about Dr. Reed? Her GPL signal isn't broadcasting. Do you know where she is?
In the secured zone. You'll never get in there. Too many guards.
For now, sit tight.
Really?
And
You
wait
think
for my
so?
signal. Any idea who's behind this, Doc? The kidnapping, the facility?
Not really. Remarkable considering I've been here 6 months. You would have thought someone would let something slip. It's time to teach these wankers a lesson.
That's right, Grandpa. Tell it like it is.
Gotcha. Just be ready. When you feel your GPL vibrate, set off that distraction.
Understood, lad. But do be careful.
Alright, so that's one dock down. Declan, taken care of. I haven't even explored this room yet to see if there's anything that's worth getting, but let's go ahead and head back to the elevator. And so here again, you can re-raise the lasers. You're done with this section, but I forget to.
Access granted. Access granted. Access granted.
So this is actually a pretty important email to read. Don't tell me you don't know. It pretty much spills the beans about what's going on in a pretty big way. So I'm showing off this route because this is actually a way that you don't want to go. You do want to head back upstairs. The reason why is because getting across the room rather than going out the front door is our goal. And again, if you were to go out the front door, it does give you a nice SWAT turn path over near that turret, but it will always see you unless you have cloak. You can just head on down the stairs here. And we'll cut some footage. You're waiting for, again, the guard on the far end to be walking away, and the guard near you starts walking away. You can make it around the corner just in time. Kind of digging the soundtrack. It reminds me of Tron, the new Tron movie. Alright, so here we're going to pop open the map again, and I'm going to show off where we're headed. I'm actually going to go upstairs, I think. Yeah, I'm contemplating what I want to do here. Yeah, I'm going to go upstairs. So there's a camera at the far end, but I just want to point it out as something to be aware of, but we're not actually going to take this route. Pretty much you just need to watch out for that camera whenever you're making a move out of this room, because it can spot you at the range. So I'm going to wait for the guard to turn. Now I'm waiting for the camera to pass me by, and now this guy's going to turn around and check. The camera's sweeping back. I can't go yet. Now I can go. At the end of this hallway there's a set of laser beams, but there's also a guard that's nice enough to let us through. So I'm just waiting for him to get out of the way. And we're going to cut some footage, have him come back. Now again, this is that second camera I said that you didn't need to shut down. You can leave that one on. I just mistakenly turned it off. So this is important. You need to wait for this guy to come all the way to the end of his path. He will stand there for a few seconds. I'm using the radar to time it, because otherwise he will hear the door open. Gotta be a little bit cautious about that. There's an elevator leading out, but of course there's one of the scientists that we need to talk to right over here.
What do you want? I told you people not to barge in here. Wasn't the new biochip design enough?
Dr. Koss, I'm here to get you out.
They forced me to work for them. I didn't want to create the new biochip, especially since it was based on Sarif's research, but they didn't give me a choice. Said something about having Tai Young Medical produce it and distribute it through LIM, but I can't be sure. All right, Mr. Jensen. I'm with you. What's our next move?
We need to disable their GPL tracker. I know Dr. Sevchenko was working on something.
Yes, a virus program. We all thought it was too risky considering we had nowhere to go. But I don't have it. You'd better check with Nia or Declan.
Sit tight, Dr. Koss. When you feel a vibration from your GPL, set off that distraction. That'll be the signal.
I will. Good luck, Mr. Jensen. And hurry.
Okay, so that's yet another dock down. Eric Koss has been spoken to. And now it's time to head out of here. You got a couple different choices. You can go back the way you came. You can take the elevator. Or you can hop in here, check some emails. We've got one more dock to visit. Just making sure I didn't miss anything I could have picked up. Alright, so now we're back onto the level that we want to be on for this final doctor. And you can also see places where you can break through the walls if you don't care about being stealthy. So here you need to, again, wait for the guard to be kind of a few steps away before you come in through here. And also, you need to be careful of the guard that was over to the right. You need to make sure they are both walking away. Otherwise, you will be spotted. That will be very bad. So here, you can hug the wall. You can actually get a little bit closer to him. He won't ever look over. I'm waiting for him to start moving towards me. He sits down in a chair that's at the end of the hallway. Here he comes. So he'll walk on past you, and you gotta be pretty quick here. You need to burn your nukes, because there is not a way to capture the security tower, so definitely burn your nukes. You've got to get this thing hacked before he turns around. And this is why we disabled that one camera.
Access granted.
And we're through. And he notices the door closing, but that's all he noticed. And he's already back to his normal path. And here's the final doctor.
Get the hell out! This lab is off limits to you people.
Nice to see you too, Dr. Goldman.
What? Wait a second. I know you. You were Sarif's security guy. Way to protect our asses.
Hey, check the attitude, Doc. I nearly died trying to save you.
Oh, and now you're here to take me back. Well, maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I've got more here than I ever had at Sarif.
Would Vasily Sevchenko agree with that? They executed him and dumped his body in a ditch.
It was a software upgrade that limits functionalities in a biochip. They told me it was for crowd control.
I don't suppose you have a copy of Dr. Sevchenko's viral program.
I see the others filled you in. Here.
Depending on the order that you met with
Upload
the
it to the
doctors, the
central
last
security
one will give you the
computer,
virus.
and it'll scramble the scanners. They won't be able to track us.
Where exactly do I find the security computer?
There's a tunnel near the back of the compound. I believe it will take you to the machine.
Once I upload the virus, it'll be time to act. I'll signal you. Your GPL will vibrate.
I'll be ready.
Alright, so all that stuff is done. And you don't get any ghost bonus for talking to these 3 doctors. It's all, sadly, I guess all part of the same mission or something. So, I'm still not entirely sure how or why the whole ghost bonus triggers. But I certainly wasn't spotted for any reason, so. Here I'm just going to demonstrate an alternate path you have to get to her office. And by taking this back path, this is what allows you to never have to turn off those cameras. So yeah, from the first floor in these back rooms, there's a vent, and it's hidden pretty well behind this box, so coming at it from the other angle, obviously, it's pretty easy to spot. But if you want another route up to her office, beautiful thing about this game, there's so many darn choices. So as you can see, I mean, even with my playthrough, there's so many different ways where I could have avoided shutting down that camera altogether. Could have avoided hacking this door. I guess the only thing you might have to do, or might choose to do, is to shut down the lasers that lead to the first doctor I spoke to. But even then, you can either turn them back on as you leave, or alternatively, you can... there's another route. If you go outside, you can get into the building where he's at. So, you know, there is a way to get through here with really making 0 disturbances. I just didn't, you know, didn't feel like doing that. So now, since I've talked to the 3 doctors, I'm going to head back outside. And I'm looking for this guy. I was trying to figure out where he was. I guess he was seated at the desk. And just cut across again. Make sure he's not looking. So as soon as he sits down, you're clear. You need to make sure that the lower guard isn't walking towards you when you make a move for the vent. But I saw that he wasn't, so I knew it was in the clear. Getting out of here can be a little bit tricky. The main thing is that the camera won't spot you until you go near the pillar. But you still have to kind of time it, because as soon as you leave this spot, the camera will... Like right here, the camera won't see you, but I'm right on the edge of it. So I'm waiting for the guard, waiting for the camera, and the guard, I also was using the radar, making sure that the guard on the raised platform was seated at the desk. That way he had his back to me the whole time. So now I'm just waiting out the guards. And you've got to wait for the guy in the back to turn around. You've got to wait for the guy that's pathing away from me on my level to turn around. Wait for the camera, and then you can move through. And one more time. Got to wait for the guy. Okay, the guard just sat down, so I know I got time there. So now I'm just waiting on the camera, and I'm through. All right, so no detections, no suspicions. So I watched several other walkthroughs, and in almost all of them that were quote-unquote stealth, the person just enabled their cloak, and they would just swat, turn, or run past the turret that's up ahead. But since I don't ever want to buy cloak, don't ever want to use cloak, I think it's kind of cheap, I decided to come up with my own solution, which involves a tranquilizer rifle. But of course, since this is 0 takedown, I will not be shooting anyone with it. Now this is really important. You gotta wait for these guards to be patrolling in exactly this pattern. There's one where they're pretty close to this, but not quite. And take a look at the radar. They're almost moving at the same rate and moving away. They're gonna turn around and check. As soon as they're done checking, then you make your move. And notice how I just shot the ground, and I'm not moving yet. I only alerted the one guy, and as soon as his sight is turned, you move up and grab cover. And you're past him. Otherwise, he will always be facing at you. There's no way to round that corner without him spotting you. So, notice how the turret didn't see me, nothing saw me. So, I'm waiting for the guard that was coming back to path away. And now I can move to the back area of the compound. So that's how you can get through there without ever being spotted. So here you can SWAT turn here, but notice the camera. It will not spot you here, so you can SWAT turn no problem. However, here, if you try to SWAT turn, the camera will see you, or at least be suspicious, and I didn't want that to happen, so I chose to walk back to these crates here, and now you can SWAT turn, and the camera won't spot you.
Access granted.
So here you get a laser rifle, which is going to be really handy as you face off against the next boss. As you might imagine, we are heading in that direction. So just wait for the bot to turn its slow ass around. And once it's past you, you can jump across. The camera never moves, so you just need to hug the wall here. And you're through. And the last little section is one camera that's looking out at the security office. So just wait for it to pan back so you can move underneath it. And once you're here, wait for the camera to look away. You don't need to sprint, but I didn't want to wait. See, I didn't want to do this boss with mines. It actually makes him pretty easy. So, because he pretty much always just runs at you. So I decided, let me go ahead and, I'm going to hack this for the XP, but I'm not going to actually turn off the camera.
Granted.
There's no need. Alright, so it's time to hit the disk reader and upload the virus. And as soon as that happens, you gotta move. There's Ghost and
Pritchard,
Smooth
are you still
operating.
tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh?
And just hide.
Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
Boom. Hi guys. How you doing? Alright, so everyone's alarmed, but not hostile yet. And the only thing you have to watch out for here is the bot. So just make sure you're not spotted by it and you're good. So I'm trying to get an idea of where it's at. Realize I've waited too long, so I'll cut some footage, have him path back. Now I can go in here and grab some ammo. So I do a little bit of inventory management here so I can grab that target seeking upgrade, although I don't think I ever use it. Oh well. You really don't need it. I mean, it's just a way to like make shooting at the guy easy mode. So, no big deal. And so we're at the boss fight. Ghosted through, no takedowns. So, I find the laser rifle to be quite effective against this guy. I don't have any upgrades on it, but whatever. And this is just a freaky room, man.
Your tenacity, Adam Jensen, is really quite irritating. We'd like you to stop now.
I'm afraid I can't, Zell. You see, I figured it out. I know what you and your conspiracy buddies are planning.
Do you? How clever.
A new biochip. A software upgrade that limits what augmentations can do.
All your blundering around and childish interference hasn't stopped a thing. Tell me, have you been to a limb clinic lately?
So if you forego the trip to Lim in the second trip to Hengsha, then you get to fight this guy with all your stuff, I think.
Dispose of him, Namir.
Here, though, it gets a little bit more interesting, so I actually chose to fight him without my stuff.
You should have stayed dead, Jensen.
So a couple of significant things. Obviously, gas and EMPs now can hurt me, and I don't have any other augmentations. I think maybe you're able to keep your sprint, but that's about it. So I start off by tossing a nade, and he tosses one of his own. And this is a pretty straightforward fight. There are so many different ways to beat him. One is you can literally just wait for him to hop over a wall. If you get behind him when he hops over, then you can literally just punch him, and the fight's over. So, okay, whatever. My style is more trying to use some cover, and just go ahead and hypo-boost him up whenever you get hurt. Any damage you do to him will remove his cloak temporarily, so... here he just kind of gets stuck for a while. I'm like, well, that's fine, I'll just keep shooting you. A little headshot action there. Alright, so he tosses a nade. Anytime he tosses a nade, just run to the other side. My tendency whenever I see a nade is I'll run at least to the next corner, if not the opposite corner. And I wanted to run to the opposite corner because I wanted to grab some ammo. So all these pillars with the single statuette will have ammo in them, or some sort of weapon. I think the last one I choose has more laser rifle ammo, which sort of was annoying because I really would have wanted to have that. But you do. The other thing is, yeah, if he ever drops down close to you, you've got a couple of options. You can stun him with a... stun gun does work on him, but I found I really liked to keep him at range. And notice how even when he's cloaked, you can see sort of the shadow. He still is visible a little bit. Yeah, only a couple of shots hit the head there. My aim was pretty shitty. Oh, nades.
Right over here.
So yeah, a lot of people had trouble with this one. Yeah, there it is. There's the laser rifle and stuff. But you know what? He's almost dead, so there he goes. So yeah, that is the Omega facility, ghosted with 0 takedowns.
Finish it.
Not until you tell me where Megan is.
You've lost her, Jensen. Men like us
Okay, so
never get back.
Namir is dead. So make sure you loot him, because he contains a buttload of cash, which you can only spend in one other place, I think. And he also has a plasma rifle and some ammo, so make sure you pick that up. And that's it. So all we have left now is a little trip to a very frozen spot of the Earth. We'll be heading there next time on 0 Takedown Ghost. I'm Reese Scotsman, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough.